Hey guys, what's up everybody? Welcome back again to another video from the Apex Predator Billiards Club. My name is Apex Selemio, and I have here a situation which I'm going to be placing on the screen here for you, in which this is a scenario that came up I believe this is a 9-ball game, where we have this 7-ball that is on the third diamond. It's a little bit off the rail, not that much. And we have this 8-ball down here and this 9-ball down here. And so there are about 2 options that are available here. There's a defensive option and there's also an attacking option. As it relates to what route you take, what choice you make, it depends on your skill level, it depends on your ability, it depends on how much knowledge you have about the game. So I'm going to demonstrate to you 2 situations, one defensive, one offensive, and hopefully during the process, which is an uncut version of the video, during the process you'll be able to see different variances in what can happen when you try to play this shot, perhaps defense versus offense. As it relates to what is my favorite option, I think I have a better chance of playing a locked up safety, which is perhaps to go 1 rail, 2 rails, 3 rails, 4 rails, and to hook my opponent on the 9 or in between the 9 and the 8. So it's going to definitely take some knowledge in order for you to execute a shot like this, but these are going to be my options. Now, if this video and other videos that I place on my channel is of any benefit to you towards your pool game, be sure to like this video, subscribe to the channel, let's hit that notification bell down below so you can be notified and updated whenever I post a new video. Now you guys have been seeing a lot of videos in terms of matches, and there's certain stuff that I do during the matches which I do in practice, and one of the elements of the game that a lot of persons kind of overlook is the defensive aspect of the game. Alright, defense is just as powerful as an offense. So without further ado, we're going to jump right into the video right now and see how to execute these 2 shots, both defense and offense. Alright, so take a look at this. Alright guys, so as mentioned before, we're going to be looking at the defensive option for the situation presented on the table. So let's just go over what position we're in at the moment. Now we have the 8 down here, and we have 2 positions in which we can play, a short side and we can play for the long side. We have this 7-ball here, but it's really, the only thing that is available is a bank shot. Now, or it could be a bank shot in the corner, where we could probably draw the cue ball down here, or maybe draw the cue ball off the 7 down here, or we could cross bank it in the side and go 3 rails, which is the attacking option we're going to look at in the next segment. But why do I prefer the defensive shot over the offensive shot here? Now, I have 2 things that can happen for me in a defensive option. If I try to play a 4-rail snooker on my opponent and try to land on or down behind the 9 and the 8, this 7-ball will perhaps come to the middle of the table, or I think with the amount of speed it may come over to this side of the rail here, and then I can have 2 things happening. If I don't get under the 8 and the 9, I can obviously leave my opponent with a very tough offensive opportunity or a tough defensive opportunity. Even if he or she tries to go for the shot using some Hail Mary tactics, then they might sell up the game, and that is exactly what I want, because based on the position I am in at the moment, I don't stand a very high chance of running this rack. So here is how we're going to go about executing the shot. This shot, you have to play this 7-ball maybe like about a quarter hit, alright? Not a half ball hit, just about a quarter hit, quite thin. And you have to pretty much play with little or no spin. A little spin might help the angles to correct itself, and you also need to hit into this area right here on this 4th rail. Now you don't want to come too long, because you're going to sell out. If you hit this 3rd diamond down here, you're going to come here and land, and your opponent will have maybe a shot. If you're not lucky, you might just leave the 7-ball, and you don't want to come too high, because you're going to come on top of the 9, and that's going to be even a bigger sellout. So the aim here is to try to make sure that you get this cue ball to land into this area right here, so to come under the 8 and 9. Now try not to use too much spin, because too much spin will correct the angle coming on the 2nd rail, and it will bring it more towards the side pocket. and if you're not lucky, it will go into the side, and if you're very well, obviously not completely unlucky, you might hit here and head into the corner. So it's a high percentage defensive shot, even though it looks really difficult, but it stands for you two opportunities. Either you're going to leave your opponent with a really tough defensive shot or offensive shot, or you're going to play a really tough snooker on him. So let's see how many attempts we can make at this. Alright, so this 7 ball is just here, the 7 ball is just off the rail a little bit, and the cue ball is almost like into a cross-side bank. So thin cut on the 7, just a little bit of spin, and just try to come around a couple of rails. Alright, so you can see there that hit the 7 ball. It didn't have the right speed, so what we're going to have to do is try that one more time again. We're going to need some more speed and a thinner cut on the 7. Into that second diamond there, and under the 8 and 9, and that's an absolutely fantastic snooker. Now this defensive shot is very, very repeatable, and you can often get that cue ball because off the third rail, it is really coming in towards the second diamond and it's heading on down towards the 5th rail down here. So this is an absolutely fantastic snooker. Alright, so you guys can definitely try that out. As I said, when you're playing the 7 ball, ensure that the 7 ball is played thin. You're going to use a little or no spin with probably a little bit of medium speed. Just kind of come around the rails a little bit. Just play with enough speed that you can catch this rail. And so with the correct speed, you should be able to get under the 8 and the 9 for an absolute snooker. Let's see if we can perhaps try to repeat this shot one more time. Alright, so that was like my second attempt. As you can see, this is an uncut version of the video. Okay, so it's good to always see what can happen. Okay, so let's try it one more time. Just beating the 7 there with the correct speed. Look at that 7 ball that is on the rail, and look at that cue ball heading in the same direction as we had it before. Now with this, your opponent will have to kick, and hopefully with the pool gods in your favor, you should be able to get a ball in hand, pocket the 7, pocket the 8 and the 9, and take the rock. So that there is defensive option number 1. Let's look at another defensive opportunity that we can do. Now for defense variance number 2 now, this is more or like where you're going to be thinking about just leaving the opponent with a top shot. And this is an option that I don't really like, because once you're going to allow the opponent to really see the ball, then you're going to give them options. When you play that snooker, like what you just seen in the last segment, that takes away all options from your opponent, and that's a definite game in safety. So that is why I like it. But let's have a look at different variances here. What I'm going to try to do here is actually just play the 7 ball a little bit thicker, and perhaps just try to catch this here. My aim here is just to bring this 7 ball over to this side of the rail here, leaving my opponent with a top shot. So let's see what we can do here. We're just going to use a little bit more than the speed that we used before. Right? Let's see what happens here. Now you notice here that that cue ball, we hit it really, really bad. Now you can see here that obviously this is not a snooker. And so what advantage do we stand here by doing this, right? We got the cue ball here. We didn't hide the opponent, but you can see safely just for the opponent to just play this 7 ball straight up and to get back the 8 is going to be a very tough shot. So sometimes what looks to be like a sellout shot really is a high percentage opportunity for you to actually lay a hard shot for your opponent. So you can definitely try out different variances of this. Now we could also definitely have a look at just pretty much just focusing on the 7 really. Alright, so we could focus on trying to bump the 7 over to here. Alright, just carrying that over there. Beating the 7. Oh, that's a little jerky. Alright, and again, you can see that cue ball wants to come down here. And then again, it looks like a sellout shot at the professional level. This may be really like a sellout, but at the amateur or the semi-amateur level, just getting back onto this beat here is going to be tough. So there are different variances in which you can experiment, ladies and gentlemen, on what best it is that you can do in order for you to get an opportunity to come back to the table. Alright, so do check those out. Leave a comment in the comment section below to let me know what you think about the defensive option that I have discussed with you here. Now, let's look at an attacking option now. Alright guys, so a lot of players, there's a lot of different players out there, and a lot of players will perhaps say, I'm going to go for the shot, okay? Attacking. Lots of players think attack. Some players don't think defense. And we have to also look at options that we can see. But then now I know that you guys are looking at this and you're going to be saying, okay, so why didn't you just bank the 7 or 1, 2, 3 rails for the 8? The thing is, the bank is not guaranteed because you have to know exactly how to play the bank. Now this bank has to be, you have to play the 7 ball a bit thick, and you have to play with a bit of outside left spin so that when the 7 ball catches the rail, the left spin will throw the 7 ball back to the side pocket here. But when it goes around the rails, you're going to have to control the speed in order to land on the 8. So let's see exactly how we can do this to land on the 8 after playing a 3 rail position. So let's see here. We're going to play with a bit of left spin. We're going to play the 7 ball a bit thick, and then hopefully throw it in the pocket here. Alright? Ball down there, and you can see back into the side. Now, this is the reason why I don't like that one bank option, because it's more speed sensitive than you actually think. You can see that 7 ball flew into the side pocket, but look at where we end up on the 8. So that tells me there and then now that I'm going to have to bank the 7 with a bit more finesse and also focus more on the speed. So let's try to see if we can do this again. For you. Alright, so that was a really good bank shot, but the position there is not very good for run out. So let's try that one more time. The 7 ball is really close to the rail. So there's a little bit more finesse. Let's see here. Alright, so you see it banks short. Alright, and I was fortunate enough. Alright, that doesn't happen every day, but I was fortunate enough to get that 7 ball over to the other side pocket to get that shot on the 8 to try to run the ramp. But we're going to try to play the 7 ball more towards the side pocket here and try to get perfect position on the 8. And we're going to try to bank the 7 ball to come into the side pocket to go 1, 2, 3 rails, 4 rails and come down here. So we're going to need a lot of finesse on this shot here. So let's see. And it banks short again. So you can see that the offensive shot that you're going to try to play on the 7 ball will do you no justice because the bank is not always guaranteed and you have to understand the rails and how it reacts. But let's see if we can try to play at least one successful shot on this bank. So far, you can see that I've been banking the ball a bit short, so it could mean that I need to play the 7 ball a little bit thinner or maybe play with a little bit more left spin. So let's try it one last time. Alright, so hopefully we get some speed here, hopefully the rail is correct. And let's see if we have a shot on the 8. We actually do not have a shot on the 8. But, okay, you can see that the bank is not always guaranteed and also it is more speed sensitive than anything else. Alright guys, so let's try until we get a few. I'm going to try to make a few shots for you. Alright, so watch this in fast motion. shot on the 8 for that one, but it was a bit thin. We want to try to get perfect position on this 8. So we're going to continue going until we do. Alright, so that's a little bit better shot on the 8, but let's try to see if we can get real perfect on the 8. Absolutely perfect. So all we have to do now is to just roll this 8 ball in and so therefore just complete the rack by pocketing this number for a win in this game. So you can see sometimes the on the table looks obviously very difficult, but if you think through the game and you study and you understand the rails, you can see that you can make what seems to be a very difficult rack and look like a really, really awesome and fantastic rack. Alright guys, now there was an option that was mentioned by a few players I have to make mention of, where they were suggesting that if you roll up the 8 cue ball onto the 7 like this, alright. Now, I definitely do not recommend this in any way, shape or form, and again, I'm not a professional player, I'm a player that is in training, but I'm also studying the understanding of how my ball is played. And so just rolling up the cue ball onto the 7 there, just trying to give your opponent back an opportunity, it's giving him too much options. He can roll it back up on you and freeze the 7 on the rail, leaving you in a worse position than you were in the beginning. Or he can perhaps play like field safety on the 7 here and go down the rail and come down here and then leave you with something like nasty as that, because the 9 and the 8 was right here. So you can see different things can happen when you give your opponent too much chances. So that roll up on the 7 is not a high percentage and it doesn't do you any justice. Anyways guys, this brings us to the end of the video. I do hope you enjoyed this tutorial session. And look forward for many more contents and defensive, offensive shots, training drills, all that kind of stuff, guys. It's going to be fantastic. Thank you for watching, thank you for subscribing, and I'll see you next time in another tutorial video. Apex is out.